What is good, hunters? Welcome back to another video. I've been thinking lately between Call of the Wild and Way of the Hunter, and I asked myself, does Way of the Hunter have a grind? Because we all know Call of the Wild does, and I think the answer is yes. Now, the grind is very different here in Way of the Hunter. In Call of the Wild, you're basically hunting for great ones. You have a certain amount of animals you need to kill randomly that will spawn your great one. And that is how basically you grind. It can take hours, days, weeks, who knows. In Way of the Hunter, the grind is different. We have the ability here to grow animals, where in Call of the Wild you don't. In Call of the Wild, animals spawn in, I believe at a certain, number, and then you want to sort of eliminate that number or stack that number in order to basically increase your, the odds against you, or the odds in your favor, I should say, of a great one spawning. Where in Way of the Hunter, it's all about herd management. And this is the identity of Way of the Hunter, and this is a very slow pace type of hunting. Compared to Call of the Wild, where it's a run and gun and you're basically racing to take out animals, here it's a lot more laid back. You're not rushing to take animals out. Basically, it's a laid back approach in growing your animals. And I think it's very unique that both games have these different types of, grind, if you want to say so, or style of play, because this basically gives hunters the option to choose, to enjoy both worlds, to enjoy one or the other, whatever suits hunters. At least there's options. And I think it's a very underrated part of Way of the Hunter, is that players will start playing the game and they would think, well, this is no fun. This is very slow. It takes too long to find animals. They realize there's a bit of a learning curve. Then there's a process that they don't really understand that's underlaying. And there's a lot of things in Way of the Hunter that are kept a secret. The mechanics are kept a secret. It's not as transparent as Call of the Wild or straightforward. You learn by playing. And I think that's a really awesome system. I think it's what gives Way of the Hunter an identity and longevity. Because you have a choice to make when you take out your animals. You can't just go around shooting. You can play that way. If you don't care for herd management, you can shoot anything you see with any gun. But if you want to get good trophies, you need to learn the high habitats, the low habitats, how to balance these herds, what to shoot and what not to shoot. I just released a video a few days ago about teaching, players what to shoot. And here we're going to look at what is the flow of hunting when it comes to the grind. And that is basically, you have to make an informed decision of not only what you're shooting, but what are you going to wait on? What's worth waiting on? And we take a look at this buck here, and he's by himself. And based on his antler, we can assume that he probably is not a high genetic. So now my thinking here is, it still looks good, but I'm thinking he's a 2-star. His genetics probably sit maybe in the 60s. So I can say maybe we can take him out, or we can wait. If we wait, he can improve the genetics overall in both the highland and the lowland. And this really is the decision you have to make. It's not a run and gun kind of game. It's a decision making. And it takes a long time. There's a lot more investment from this standpoint. You're not running and gunning. You're not just playing out, herds from a standpoint of just mindlessly doing so. Here, it takes documentation. It takes writing down, tracking what type of animals that you're taking down, so you understand and get a feel for overall how you're improving your genetics. Because that's what it's all about here. It's about improving your herds so we get 5-star trophies, which is what everybody wants. And that's how we go about doing so. So as we know, 2-star matures are a bit risky to shoot without trying to use a caller. So I'm going to get a little bit closer and see if we can call this guy in. Because we need to make a judgment call of, can we take him out or do we leave him? But we need to get into the range of about 250 meters for all callers to work. And that's another thing that a lot of players may not know, is that callers have a range in where they work compared to when they don't work, and 250 is the cutoff point. If you're not within that range, the animals will not respond or hear you, if they have potential to respond to you. We're going to keep walking here until we... There we go. So we're going to try calling him in. We're going to go for a low fitness. Because that's what we're trying to determine. Is this guy a low fitness? And that is your goal when you approach any animal. Your first thinking is this guy a low genetic? Do I need to remove him? If the answer is yes, then we take him out. Then you can judge and say, well, maybe we'll just leave him and let him die on his own. Since he's by himself, we can check on him. After every year cycle, check on him, see where he's at. And then we can judge and say, okay, we're just going to leave him, let him live to better the herd, to better the whole region, or we can take him out. And this really is the mind game, the roll of the dice that you play in Way of the Hunter. So I think we heard some Sika deers or Samba deers around here. We're not interested in that. We want to see what we got here with this buck. Because these lone animals will affect the herd. Not because they're by themselves mean they won't have an effect on the herd. They will. So you got to be careful in taking them out also. So far, I don't think we're getting a response. I will keep trying here until I can get eyes on him. But in case he doesn't respond, then we'll leave him alone. Because we got some other animals we can take a look at here. So I'm hearing some movement, but I'm not sure what that is. Is it just pheasants? I think it's the pheasants. Yeah, it's pheasants right here. So I don't think our buck is really interested in our call. These pheasants are messing up my sound here. I can't really hear. Oh, it's not pheasants. Yeah, it's guinea fowls. You don't see them too often around here. But we can spook him, let him go their own way. So I don't see my buck. I'm not sure where he went. But overall, the feeling that I'm getting from him is that I think we're going to leave him alone. With that Seeker there around here, I wonder if he's still around. Okay, so our buck is just ahead. It's not responding at all, so should be within range now. But we seem to have like 2 animals in the vicinity here. As we can see by the sound analysis here, we got 2 situations going on. Yes, our guinea fowl is still right here. And as you can see here, there's a patience that come with that. It's not a game you can rush. It's a patience game. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a nice change of pace. And this is the kind of hunts that I want new players to see, of what they can expect. Because few players really understand what they're kind of getting into here. The methodical way of how you have to judge your animals and go about herd management, it's a whole different ball game. It's so rewarding if this is what you're into. Again, you can definitely play differently, run and gun. That's up to you. So as we can see here, we're not really getting a response from our buck. So we're going to leave him alone. We're going to assume that he's a high genetic on some level, since he's not responding to a call. And sometimes randomly they don't respond to your call, even if they're low. So we're going to have to chalk it up as he's a 2-star. He has a good genetic, as we can see him in the distance here. I think that's him. And we can sort of let him be. Oh, we have a nice Seeker here. But I did see the buck in the background. Let's see if the Seeker responds to us. Yeah, so that's a nice mature male. He's within range for sure. Let's see if he has any interest in the call. Yeah, he doesn't seem to have much interest. And it's a bad situation we got him in here because he's resting. Since he's resting, they will have a bit less interest in calls. So it seems that we have 2 nice high genetic animals here. Actually, wait a minute. We're getting a response. Or is he just curious? Well, he's watching us. So we can take this time to sort of look at his antlers and see what we're dealing with here. And I think he's a decent genetic. Now, The problem here is there's a mechanic where the animals sort of come and check you out. So you don't want to confuse that with them responding to the caller, which we just saw right there. If we jumped the gun, you probably would have shot him, thinking he was responding to the caller. I don't think he has any interest. Yeah, so there he is. So I'm going to leave him and assume that he's a pretty decent genetic too. Again, this is the kind of decisions you have to make in Way of the Hunter. A lot of patience is needed, time invested to kind of look and see and realize, okay, maybe I need to let this animal live or let him wait for a bit to kind of see how this develops. Take him out or move on to another. So we're going to move on to another. So we got a massive herd right there. Look at the rack on that guy. So I think this is a perfect herd to sort of demonstrate what I mean. As you can see, we have two herds here. So now if you take a look, we can see we have one that 4-star. We get a nice 2-star. That guy over there is a 1-star. And this is the system. Basically, you come and you see the herd and you see what you can grow. So instead of having numbers, we have a star system here. So we go from 1 to 5. 5 is the trophy. You're growing the animal from 1-star to 5-star. And this is the patience. This is the grind. And it's a beautiful thing. Because now you can come and sort of sit, watch your herds. And there's a lot of herds that you have to manage. So this can take you a very long time. So it's a grind, you know? Making sure you track your herds, know which one you're shooting. Coming back, checking up on them. Giving, enough time to be passed within the game so your animals actually age. All this stuff you have to think about, and it's phenomenal. So I definitely want to use my collar here because we don't want to mess anything up. Make a call. Now we got this herd just over the ridge down here. I don't know where they're going. But these guys seem like they're resting here. So we're going to approach very, very slowly. Because this is what it takes to really invest in your herd. Unless you're taking a long shot, you can just probably take a shot from here and do whatever. But sometimes you need to get closer to really observe. And sometimes some kind of time is invested in a different way compared to Call of the Wild. Where you're just jumping from lake to lake, shooting, whatever, 7s or whatever the case may be. Just taking down animals. Here, there's more of a laid-back feeling. There's an observation. That guy's going to be something special. You can see by his coat. Can't wait. So we definitely want to come back and look for him. So we're not really getting a response from these guys because they're chilling. So again, not every animal will respond to you, but we're not getting anything here so far. So judging from this, we may not be able to take out anything from these two herds. You can take the risk because they're not responding to the caller and you can shoot one. But that's what you're doing, you're taking that risk. So there's a lot of times where you're going to be walking around and there's animals that you cannot shoot. You simply just can't. because it's going to mess up your herd management. Now we can see a guy here who looks pretty weak. Doesn't look anything special, but we can't trust that. Another guy here, we can't really trust him. But since we got a nice male here that's brewing, you don't want to mess with the system. So you got to make that informed decision that, hey, I'm going to be patient here and let this develop. I'm looking another couple of days and see what happens. Same thing over here. Nobody's responding. And this is really what it's about. Sometimes you get lucky and an animal comes in. You take it out, you improve your genetics. Other times, you hit this sort of a wall where nothing is responding. Which could be a good sign. Because we got a nice guy here. That in a couple of days, he's going to be a 5-star. Are we going to get him? That's a beefy rack he has there. So that's really what I wanted to show hunters, is the difference in the grind, if you want to say so, between Call of the Wild and Way of the Hunter. It's a different pace, a different change of style of hunting, and very rewarding. If this is something you're into, you can spend hours just doing this. And that's what I do. I do it on Ranger, so it's even, it's even tougher because you don't have the star system that I have here on Ranger. Like, you cannot use this animal analysis on Ranger, so you really have to field judge. I don't know, you won't know what stars these animals are. But overall, man, it's such a great experience, and if it's something you've been curious about, you have interest in, I recommend you check it out. Pick up Way of the Hunters if this is really up your alley. If you love sitting, judging your animals, a slower pace of hunting. I know a lot of hunters don't have time. You got families, you got a job, you got other games to play. But again, if this is really up your alley, you can't go wrong. In Call of the Wild, you're basically depending on spawns, what spawns in at a certain number, whatever the case may be, and elimination. Here, you're focusing on growing your animals. It's a very unique system. And when you get into it, it's very addictive, very rewarding. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you herd manage, got some more over here. Yeah, let me know if you herd manage, if you enjoy it. If there's things you don't understand about it, feel free to leave it in a comment and reach out. We also have our Discord. You can pop in and ask questions and talk to other hunters. So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.